year 3, lesson 7 of science. Okay. So let's see. We are going to start with the review here. We have Maria that is going to do the review for us. Okay, Jacob, you are unmuted now. Okay, so Maria, let's go and see the reviews. Okay, so in here we are going to do a quick review of all the different organelles of the cell. So I'll just flip through each one, and you tell me what you remember about each one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the cell membrane. The cell membrane is the outer wall of the cell that chooses what organelles come in and out.
Excellent. So what molecules, everything that comes in or out. Okay. Do you remember what was this? What would this represent here in the cell membrane?
The opening, or the door to it.
The what, sorry?
Like a door?
Like a door, yes. Exactly. So it would be kind of a part of the membrane that kind of goes in to let other nutrients or large molecules come in, okay, and it would form a vesicle. Good job. Okay. Oh, let's see. I clicked the wrong one. Next. Okay. Nucleus. Keep going.
The nucleus is it's like the command center of the cell. It gives all out the instructions to the molecules.
And what does it contain? What does the nucleus contain? There's one thing that is very, very important. So Jens says DNA, and Josh says energy. What do you think that the nucleus contains, Maria?
DNA.
DNA, that's right, DNA. So if the chromosomes are in the DNA molecule, okay, so the protein, remember, it was done somewhere else. We'll see where. Oh, I did the same thing again. I see the okay. All right. What can you tell me about a vacuole?
Isn't the vacuole where the wastes are stored, and water and
Yes. Excellent. Okay, let's do next. Do you know what this is? The centrosomes? We haven't talked about that.
It's in. Don't they only occur in animal cells, though?
Sorry?
Don't they only occur in animal cells?
So we haven't talked about the centrosomes because they are kind of the organelles that are in charge of cell division. Okay, and so when we talk about those, all right, in another lesson, then we'll talk about those in detail. Aubrey says that the vacuoles are found in plants. Okay, yes, the large ones. What are the ribosomes?
They my brain here. Ribosomes are they build protein. And they
Excellent.
are found in prokaryotes and eukaryotes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are in all types of cells. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Good. Oh, no, that one. All right. What's the ER?
The ER is like a passageway for molecules to send different things to other organelles.
Excellent. Uh-huh. Yeah. And what do they process mostly? What does the ER process? We had two types of ER. One was the rough ER, and the other one the smooth ER. What is the rough one have? You know, why is it rough in the surface? Mm-hmm.
It has
Anybody else? Okay, if I'm asking a question, okay, you can also type your answers in the question board. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everyone else. So we do this kind of as a teamwork. All right. What was so the membrane of the ER? Part of the membrane had something that was kind of making it bumpy. What would those bumps be? Anna says ribosomes. What do you think?
Yeah, they're probably ribosomes.
Yes, ribosomes. That's right. Yeah. So the ribosomes also, and so the ER process the proteins that the ribosomes go in. Okay. What was the Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus? What do you remember about that?
It's another organelle that like sends packages, you could say, to other organelles too.
Yes, it sends the proteins in or out, you know, to other areas of the cell, especially to prepare them to go out of the cell. Okay. Connor says it stores proteins. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jacob says that the Golgi apparatus is like the digestion system. What do you think about that? Is that correct? Okay, so I think he says, oops, maybe thinking a wrong one. Which one would be more like the digestion system? Okay. Which one? What is the lysosome for?
The lysosome contains enzymes.
Mm-hmm.
And it removes wastes.
That's right. So the lysosome is like the digestion system, okay? They get rid of waste, and the enzymes break down unneeded proteins, okay? So excellent, guys. This is how I want you to always work, okay? So as I ask questions and everything, you write on the question board what you think, and the person presenting can also get all that, okay, that information. So that's very good. All right. The mitochondria, what do you know about that one?
Well, I was watching one of the videos in the lesson today, and it also re-energizes the ATP, and it processes respiration.
That's right. Yes. Excellent. So, and Aubrey mentions also that it's both in animal and plants. Okay, because all of the cells need to do this cell respiration process. So very, very good. Yes, it's the cell's powerhouse. Okay, good job. Okay, and we are going to talk a lot about the mitochondria in the lesson today. Cytoplasm.
The cytoplasm is on the inside of the cell, and it's a thick, I don't know, that it's enclosed in the cell membrane, and it's mainly out of water, and it protects like the cell as well.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Jacob says the stuff that everything else floats in. Yeah, the thing that everything is floating around. Okay. All right. Yeah, there are some things, filaments and so on. Okay, in the cytoplasm. Let's see. Cell wall. What can you tell me about a cell wall?
It's mainly made of cellulose, and it's like a rigid layer outside of the membrane.
Yes, it's a rigid layer outside of the membrane. In plants, it's made out of cellulose mostly. Okay, there are other cell types that have cell walls.
No.
Anna, are there cell walls in animal cells? Okay.
I think there are cell walls in animal cells.
So there's just in animal cells mostly not. Okay. There are some. So what happens is that animals, okay, they have skeletons. So we produce bones and so on that give our bodies the shape and structure, okay? And but fungi, bacteria, archaea, they all have cell walls, okay? So it really kind of depends. It's a little iffy. There are some cells that you can say, well, it is kind of like a cell wall, like the skin cells or the vascular cells that have, produce this blood vessels and so on. They kind of make a mesh out of the wall. So the prokaryotes, they all have also cell walls. So plants, mainly plants and prokaryotes, and fungi. Fungi have a cell wall made out of a substance called chitin. Okay, and we may talk more about that when in the lesson when we deal with that. Okay, excellent. Maria, doing great. 2 more. Okay, 3 more. Chloroplasts. What are the chloroplasts?
Chloroplasts, I know that these are only found in plants because plants make their own food, and chloroplasts make that food, and they convert the sun into energy and into sugars that can be used for the plant to eat.
Excellent. Good job. Justin, I just unmuted you. Okay. That's the anatomy of animal cells. Okay. So we'll do the next one. So, well, I think that you are done. Okay. How about that, Maria?
Yay!
Was it traumatic? You did very, very good. Excellent. Okay. So do I have a volunteer for the attention activity? If not, I'm going to ask, okay, let's see. Kaya, could you unmute your microphone, please? Okay. Oh, okay. You are for the gospel principle. Okay, so let's say Justin Mapes. Could you unmute your mic? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, what can you tell me about this? What do these pictures have in common?
They all use energy. Well, they all have a fuel and an energy source.
Yes, excellent. They all burn energy. They are all using energy. So in order to have a fire, let's say, there's three things that you need. Do you know what those are?
Oxygen, wood probably, or something flammable. What would the third one be?
So the third one is an initial energy source.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. So you need oxygen, which is the universal oxidation material. Okay. And then you need some combustion agent. All right. Something to burn, a flammable thing.
Yeah.
And then you need an initial energy source. Okay.
Okay.
So, so what do you have then in the campfire?
What?
What do we have in the campfire to make the fire go?
Sticks. Leaves. Just normal campfire stuff.
Okay.
Fuel.
What would be the initial energy source for the fire?
Energy source. Lighter or gas or.
Yeah, so you need to have at least a match, something that would start.
Like
you
match
always have the kindling and so on.
Something that can light a fire, and then you can light a fire.
That's right. Yes. So something to start. What is it that keeps the fire going?
Well, the wood acts as fuel, and it takes a little while, so it'll. Like the oxygen in the air keeps it going, and the wood is used as the fuel to keep the fire from going out, but the oxygen is there to help it, like to feed it, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a point where the energy of the fire itself reaches a critical mass, a critical amount of energy, that starts kind of a chain reaction that keeps the fire going. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't have that critical mass of energy, that critical amount of energy, the fire will go out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it when you burn the wood? What is it actually that is burning? You have the initial energy source, but what is the rest of the energy coming from?
The oxygen? No,
So oxygen is needed to do the reaction. Okay. But what is it that is actually breaking down, okay,
the wood?
Provides the energy?
The wood? Or
the wood. What in the wood? What part of the wood is actually providing this energy?
What part of the wood's providing this? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know that, actually.
Okay. So Anna says molecule breakdown. Okay. Anna then says energy breaks down the carbon bonds of the wood molecule. What do you think about that?
I've lost my wording.
So Anna says energy breaks down the carbon bonds of the wood molecules.
So it breaks down the carbon bonds, causing the fire to have fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the carbon bonds. So when you have two carbon atoms, okay, when they are joined together, they actually, that join stores a lot of energy, okay? When you break it down in the presence of an energy source and oxygen, you break that bond of the carbon bonds, and that releases the energy, okay?
Okay, yeah.
It's really, really cool. So that is where the wood is going, okay? What is the smoke? What is the smoke of the fire?
Isn't it like the smoke? Like, well, isn't it like the gas of the after effects, kind of? Like, well, the stuff coming out, except it's a gas, or
yeah. What type of gas? Remember, we are breaking carbon bonds with oxygen. What do you think that it turns into?
Dioxide? No, I don't. I have it. I just don't remember the word for it. What is it? Yeah.
Haley gave you a hint there.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember what it's called.
So in cars, the gas is carbon monoxide. Okay. In the wood is carbon dioxide.
So it's carbon dioxide, except okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really interesting. Okay, so that is really what is going on here. Things are burning, all right, and there's a chain reaction transforming the wood molecules into carbon dioxide. Okay, that then goes up into flame and smoke. All right.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what the fire is?
Fire? No.
Yeah, what is the fire?
Well, it's fire. No. I don't know what's. Can I not answer that question?
Haley says burning carbon. What do you think?
I agree.
I agree. Okay, so this is really cool, guys. Listen to this. Okay. The wood, the carbon in the wood is broken down, and because of all the energy that is being released, the carbon mixes with the oxygen into carbon dioxide, and because of the amount of energy that it has, it turns from a solid, not into a gas, but into plasma. Okay? So plasma is the fourth state of matter. It's energized, it's ionized matter. Okay? And so the fire, what you are seeing here in the fire, is just carbon dioxide in plasma state.
So it's carbon dioxide in plasma state.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's cool. Pretty cool,
okay. Yeah. So if if you go to a campfire or something, you can say, hey, let's make some plasma here.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. So why does the flame, the flame reaches a certain height and then it turns back into gas? Why do you think that is?
Smoke?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What does it turn into smoke?
Because it's burning up the carbon dioxide inside it's burning up the woods, or so it's burning up the carbon dioxide and turning into smoke. Justin said wing it.
Haley said, look at what Haley says there in the comment, the last one.
I can't see.
Oh, you can see the question board? Okay. He says that it cools down.
Oh,
okay.
right.
Yeah, so So you see, after a little while, the energy of the plasma dissipates, and then the carbon dioxide turns back into gas state.
Okay.
It cools down. It loses the plasmic energy, and it turns from plasma to gas again.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I think that this is really cool. So you've learned a ton of stuff about
It sounds
fire.
cool. It's just a little complicated for me, even though it's only fire. So.
All right. So we are not going to go through all the other ones, okay? But you see, in the car, the internal combustion engine is basically doing the same thing. What is the combustion, the things that are in the car engine to make it go? Okay, what do you need there? Mm-hmm.
Are you still talking to me?
Yes.
The gas the gas. What's it called? Gasoline.
Gasoline. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gasoline.
Then doesn't it kind of do a similar thing with the fire where it gets transferred into the power for the car or something like that?
That's right, yes. So gasoline is a hydrocarbon, okay? So it doesn't have a lot of oxygen, okay, but it's long chains of carbon, all right, in liquid state, all right? And then how does the car get air?
What?
Does the car need air?
Yeah.
Yeah, it also needs oxygen. Okay, that's why you have a fan. Okay, and an air intake into the engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what provides the energy source?
The energy source.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be like what? The gas. Wouldn't that be the energy? Well, the gas.
Well, that is the flammable thing. Okay. What gives the energy source? Look at the question board.
Gas. I think. Just guess.
Kaylee says the spark plugs, the battery, and I says the battery. Yeah, okay.
Like the motor or something like that.
So the battery distributes a spark through the spark plugs inside the piston. Okay, so the piston of the engine combines air, gasoline, and a spark. The spark causes an explosion inside the piston that expands the gases and makes the piston move, and that happens, thousands of times a minute in the engine of the car, and that makes the car move.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, excellent. Okay, so this is really so we'll get more into that when we do the year on physics, okay? But this is interesting because they are all related. We are not going to go into the power plant now, but we are going to go now into the runner, okay? All right. So Justin, thank you very, very much, okay, for being volunteer to do this. All right. Excellent. Okay, so now I would like to invite Anna to take us through the academic concept number 1. Okay, let's see. Let's go. Okay, so the process of cellular respiration. Anna, let's see. First, we are going to start with the first concept that is here. Go for it, Anna.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, so academic concept number 1 is glucose and oxygen are transported to the cell by the vascular systems. And in the video that we watched, it kind of talks about how carbohydrates from the food are removed in the stomach when the food is digested, and then the nutrients, they go to the bloodstream, and then they enter the cells. For this concept, it kind of talks about how animals and then plants process their foods. So kind of two different main topics here. Starting with the animals, they break down food by, they chew the food, they have the saliva that helps to break down the food. It goes into the stomach, and acids and enzymes, they break down the food even more, break down the chemical bonds of the food, and it's broken down into digestible molecules, the basic building blocks kind of. So carbohydrates, energy production, carbohydrates, they act in energy production. So lipids, the amino acids, all these things are broken down and can be digested in the cells.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind that's kind of for the animals, and then it goes into plants, how plants get.
Oh, I have a question, Anna.
Oh, okay.
So the oxygen that is needed here for the process of cellular respiration, where is the oxygen coming from?
For the animal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's coming through when they breathe, right?
Through what? Sorry?
Through the lungs.
Yes, exactly. Through the lungs, through breathing. Yes. Uh-huh. And how does it get from the lungs to the cell?
If I remember right, I think doesn't the oxygen, it goes into the bloodstream, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the name of the carrier of oxygen in the bloodstream?
Are those the red blood cells, or is it something else?
The red blood cells, absolutely right. Yes. So the red blood cells, Emmeline says the protein in red blood cells, there's a specific protein called hemoglobin, okay, that has a piece of iron embedded into the protein that oxidizes, meaning that it binds with oxygen and carries the oxygen from the lungs into the cells, into the body. Okay. A really amazing thing.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let's see how about plants. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as everyone probably knows, plants, they make their food through photosynthesis. They use the sun, and they create that into glucose. That's the food that the plants create. They also can convert the glucose into other carbohydrates like starch and cellulose and other carbohydrates that the plant uses for its various functions.
Mm-hmm.
I found it interesting how the plant, what it sounds like to me is that the plants, the photosynthesis is done in the leaves of the plants, and then that is transported to the stems, to the trunks, and the roots of the plants.
Isn't that amazing, really, that the food is really producing the leaves and then transported everywhere else? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is really amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how about the oxygen? How do the plants get oxygen? They don't have lungs.
Yeah. It's absorbed through holes or pores in the cell walls, and also the roots, they get oxygen from holes in the soil.
Yes. So when you prepare soil, okay, that one of the things is a good soil needs to have, cannot be too compacted, okay? If it's too compact, okay, there's not enough oxygen for the roots to breathe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that is also very interesting, and so that is why you want a soil that is kind of loose, that has enough air to allow the roots to breathe in. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Is that why they sometimes poke holes into the ground? Because I've seen in some fields there's lots of tiny little holes in the ground.
That's right. Yeah, and that is in Usually you do kind of the aeration of the ground. That is one of the ways that the soil gets more air in. Okay, but even the roots need this. Okay, good job, excellent, good deal.
Thank you.
So now, James, let's go for academic concept number 2. All right, thank you, Anna. Very, very good. So James, mute your mic. Okay. Let's do, let me see here. Let me unmute you. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now you are unmuted, James.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yes.
All right. So there's when the cell converts energy, this academic concept 2 is really like the whole process of how each one of like carbon and glucose and oxygen and water can be converted into energy. There's multiple different parts and stages that happen and go through your body. When you eat food, it goes through your digestive tract. It goes into your bloodstream. From your bloodstream, it enters into your cells, and then in the cytosol or cell, or I don't know how to pronounce it.
The cytosol.
In the cytosol, the first stage begins. It turns glycolysis. So it splits the 6 carbons and 1 glucose molecule into 2. Is it 2 or 3?
3 carbon. Okay.
Oh, all right. So it splits it into 3 carbon.
Yeah. So you have 3, and then it makes 2 with 3. Okay.
Oh, okay. So then it splits.
Does that make sense?
3, yeah. And then so from that, it has to use energy to split those, and it uses 2, but it makes 4. So then it just makes 2 ATP. Then there's this word I don't know how to pronounce. Pyruvate decarboxylation.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. For sure.
Some of these words get you. Whew.
That's right. Yeah.
So then from there, all these different kinds of molecules then transfer into the mitochondria, and this is really where like a lot of the process begins, and the actual like turning into the energy really begins, and the cell can actually use it. There's 2 different places. So in the in a eukaryote cell or in animal cells, this happens in the mitochondria, but like in other cells, like the prokaryote or in prokaryotes, it still happens in the cytosol. But what?
Yeah, because remember that the prokaryotes are really small. The prokaryotes are the size of a mitochondria.
Whoa. So it could even fit a mitochondria in it.
That's right. Yeah. So they don't have anywhere else to go. So
yeah.
That is a good observation there.
It later. So what then happens in the mitochondria is it gets oxidated, or oxidizes the pyruvate, and then to actyl CoA.
It's pronounced acetyl-CoA.
Acetyl-CoA.
Yeah, acetyl-CoA. So in the video they show it this way. Okay. So it's a more precise. Yeah, it has a more precise chemical composition, but that is kind of enough for our purposes.
All right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it oxidizes the pyruvate to an acetyl-CoA, and then to a carbon and oxygen, two carbon and oxygen atoms using an enzyme complex.
Yeah. So this one is the carbon dioxide. Okay.
Oh,
So
all right.
you see at this stage. Okay, let me look back up a second. Let's see if we can go. So in here we see, oh no, a little further. Here we have the glucose molecule. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. Okay, then the glucose molecule divides into the pyruvate. This represents the pyruvate. You see the 3 carbon molecules. There, okay, and then they produce the 4 ATP. This is the glycolysis that you were talking before, okay. Then it goes inside the mitochondria, okay, and the pyruvate is going to turn into acetyl-CoA and 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. You see that you still have the 6 carbons here.
Oh.
Originally,
Okay. So, all right. So then they're like just completely changed, and then they add like these 2 like positive electric charges to the acetyl-CoA.
That's right. So these lights here, okay, these indicate kind of positively, well, the charged electrons in the NADH molecule, all right? These molecules, the CoA part, the acetyl-CoA and the NADH, they are all inside the mitochondria, and they keep kind of being recycled in this reaction, okay? The new thing that is being added is the oxygen and the carbon that comes into the mitochondria, okay?
All right, and then, and this process, and then, so after that, it goes into a citric acid cycle, and doesn't it go into it can only do like the same molecules can only go into the citric acid cycle twice?
That's right, 1 for each pyruvate.
All right.
Okay. Excellent.
So like a bunch of different molecules are added at this point. And each one of them goes through it, and like every time a molecule's added, like it helps it like produce the ATP.
Yes.
And then
so
it goes
2 more ATPs here. Okay, these are the 2 more ATPs.
Yeah, and then it goes into the two more ATPs. So now we have 4 ATP so far.
Yes.
And then it goes into the oxidative phosphorylation.
Yes, excellent. By the way, how many carbon dioxides do we have now?
We have 2.
Okay, we used to have 2 here before, okay, and now we have 4 more, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we end up, can you see that now you have that all the carbon in the glucose, remember how many carbons were in the original glucose molecule?
6.
6. All the carbons in the original molecule are now transformed into what?
To the, oh crap, what is it called? Oh, into the carbon and oxygen molecules.
Yeah, the carbon dioxide. Di means
Carbon
2,
dioxide.
okay? So
Oh.
carbon dioxide. So you see the two oxygens here, okay? You know, the two red balls are the oxygen, all right? Okay, and so at this point, the glucose molecule has been basically used up.
Yeah, it's
Okay?
almost gone.
Yeah, so you see, at the beginning you start with glucose, then you need to add oxygen to the mix, and you are going to end up with the 6 carbon dioxide molecules. Okay?
Oh, and then okay.
All right? We still need to get to the water. Okay, we'll see where the water comes in. Okay, so let's see. Let's go there. Okay, keep going. You're doing great. So now we
Thanks. All right, let's see if I can keep. All right. Here is like there's like different like the mitochondria is almost like has like tons of different like walls almost that you have to go through, and it's almost kind of like a cell wall to where different like molecules can pass by and go into different stages. And the image on the far left that kind of looks like a fan.
Yeah, this one.
That one like doesn't it like take in molecules and then it turns them into the ATP and then it boots it out the other side?
That's right.
All right.
That's right. Yeah. This is an amazing,
so that's like
amazing machine, actually.
It looks like a machine. It looks like mechanical, but
it is really okay. Yeah.
So the ADP and a different molecule like enter in and it combines them and like does all different kinds of stuff, and then it converts it into positive energy and boots it out the other side. And so then like we go to the oxidative phosphorylation. And this is exactly like what I was explaining, is like across different like almost like cell walls or cell membranes, to where this
cell membrane. Yeah.
Yeah, cell membrane lets things in and out, and it converts different things and takes in different molecules and turns them into the ATP and positive energy. And then somewhere in here, I haven't got this far, but somewhere in here, it puts in water molecules.
So it happens right here. So let me see when what happens is that the hydrogen in all this process, remember what that I was telling you of these other molecules, the NADH and FADH2 that have these little lights, okay? And they represent kind of electrons, all right?
Yeah.
You remember that part? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens is that the electrons, let me see if I can play this. Okay. Watch carefully how, let's see. The electrons are going to pass through the membrane, and the hydrogen is going to separate. Remember that hydrogen is, let me go back to this part. Hydrogen is one electron and one proton. The proton is the hydrogen ion. So whenever you see the positive there, it's just the proton of hydrogen that has a positive charge. The little blue lights that go through the membrane, they are the electrons of the hydrogen that are separated. Okay? And so this process is called the electron chain, the electron transport chain, because you see these proteins, how they pass the electrons one to the other, and then look at this, what happens. You have oxygen coming here with the protons, and now the electrons joining, and so you have 2 oxygen, 4 electrons and 4 protons here, and see, boom, They join together and they form what?
They form the carbon dioxide.
No, this is not carbon dioxide. This is oxygen. The red is oxygen.
Oh,
and now
it's water.
Water. That's right. That is where the water comes in.
All right.
Okay.
So what is the
Isn't that
water
cool?
used for?
The water is used for a lot of things. Remember that water is, most of the cytosol, okay, is water. It's basically everything. Water is a medium of diffusion of everything, okay?
All right.
In the process of cellular respiration, okay, when we produce excess water, where do you think that the water goes? Where do you think the water goes in the process of cellular respiration?
Probably.
After everything is done.
Probably to either the cytoplasm.
Yeah, it diffuses into the cytoplasm and everything. And what happens if you have excess water?
Oh, it gets digested through the lysosome?
It could be digested, or it could be expelled out of the cell, and then it gets into the urine, or we sweat it out. Okay.
Oh, all right.
So we lose water through sweat and through the process of going to the bathroom. Okay, and that is where the excess water goes. Okay. Emmeline says, is this all in the mitochondria?
All of it is like in the eukaryote cells.
Yeah,
Well, except the first step, which is glycolysis.
The glycolysis. Yeah, the glycolysis is in the cytosol, but everything else happens inside the mitochondria. Okay. So really, really cool. Okay. Yeah. All right. So someone says, thank you for that thought. Yeah. Yeah, that is why we call it mitochondria. That is fun. So this is an amazing process, and so the ADP, the adenosine diphosphate, gets converted into ATP that has more energy. Okay, and so when we go here to the presentation, we see this is the whole production of the cellular respiration process. So can you summarize for me what you see now here in this slide?
So it starts out with glucose, and then which is made up of like carbon atoms and some oxygen atoms, and hydrogen also.
Yeah.
And then it like breaks it down, and so then it has oxygen atoms and carbon dioxide atoms and water atoms all separated. And turns the oxygen and carbon dioxide into like ATP or different kinds of energy. And then the water is used for different things like this cytoplasm.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is when you go here to the first equation you have, this is the glucose. The S means this is a solid. Okay. Oxygen, the G means that it's a gas, okay? So you combine those two, and the reaction, the arrow means it's kind of like the equal sign, all right? That it kind of indicates direction, okay, of what you end up with. And so you end up with 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, another gas, and then 6 molecules of water, that is a liquid. So you turn a solid and a gas into a gas and a liquid. Okay? In the process of breaking down, when you break down the bonds between the carbon atoms, energy is being released. That energy is harvested or collected or is transformed into the ATP molecules. All right, the way that it happens is that the ADP, which is called adenosine diphosphate, it has 2 phosphate groups. It gets transformed into ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, 3 phosphate groups. Okay, and the joining of that third phosphate groups absorbs the energy that is released when the carbon molecules are broken. Okay, so energy is transformed this way to produce about 34 to 36 ATP. Okay, isn't that awesome?
That's crazy.
Yeah, so Emmeline says, so let me get this straight. Glucose plus oxygen equals carbon dioxide and water, which forms ATP energy. That is absolutely correct, Emmeline. Great. Okay, so that is really how the cell gets all the energy, all right, by breaking the bonds of these carbon molecules and harvesting that energy into ATP. Okay? Isn't that cool?
It's amazing.
Amazing, really. Oh, no, let's cancel that. Okay. So now, and all that happens, literally, it happens here in the mitochondria, in eukaryote cells. It happens in the mitochondria, in the inner membrane. Okay. So you have in glycolysis, 2 ATP molecules are produced in glycolysis in the cytosol. Then 2 more are produced in the matrix of the mitochondria in the third part of the process. And then in the fourth part of the process, the electron transport chain produces the rest of the ATP. The majority of the ATP is done in that part of the process. Okay?
Wow, it's just kind of crazy to think that, like, there's multiple places where that's happening, so it's producing, like, tons of ATP in a very short amount of time.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, you know, we have run out of time, okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the next academic concept, okay, and the gospel principle and everything. We are going to do it in the next lesson, all right? I was already kind of thinking about, should we do 2 lessons on this, because this is actually very important, okay? So we are going to divide this lesson, and I'm going to put the things that I created for the second part here. We'll do it next week. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So because the question that we have, so now we've learned, by doing through this, we've learned the process of how and we'll do the same thing with the gospel principle, okay, because of time, okay, Kaya? So I have you there for the gospel principle next time. So we went through the process of how the carbons in the glucose, the energy is transformed into ATP. Next week, what we are going to study is, and now how does the cell actually use the ATP energy, okay? How does the runner actually run? Okay, that is what we'll do next week. A bunch of you asked me, is there homework assignment? So it's not listed. That is correct. I haven't listed the homework assignment yet because I haven't had, I'm still kind of thinking about what to do for the homework assignment, okay? And so I have a couple of ideas, but I haven't posted them yet. I'll post them as soon as I can. and then I'll send you an email telling you, okay, the homework assignments are posted, the different options, and like always, you choose one of those to do, okay? All right, but so guys, today we've learned a ton of very, very important things. We talk about the process of combustion, okay, in general, and how it works in different areas. We've learned a little bit about plasma and what fire is, okay, that was kind of a different thing. We learned how all these processes are in common, and then we've learned how the body or the cells actually transfer energy into the ATP molecule, all right? And all that happens in the mitochondria. In prokaryote cells, because prokaryote cells don't have a mitochondria, this process happens between the cell membrane and the cell wall. That is one of the reasons why prokaryotes have to have a cell wall, okay, is so they can have this other intermediate space between the membrane and the wall to do the electron transport chain, okay? So that is why the prokaryotes have a cell wall. One of the many reasons. They are, also is because of protection and shape and structure, okay? So that is one of the main reasons for that. All right? Okay. So let's finish. I have to tell you, I have learned a lot about just preparing this lesson, really, and going through it with you guys. And in the lesson, there are several videos that I encourage you to watch, and they are actually extremely cool. This one is fabulous. It shows how the ATP synthesizes the protein that makes ATP works. It's just amazing. And then this one explains more of how ATP is used by the cell. So that is what we are going to do next week, okay? So I really can see the hand of God in all these things. It's just amazing to me, all right? Kaya, would you like to close the lesson with a prayer? Would that be okay?
I will.
Good. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this wonderful day we have together as a science class and hear the wonderful lesson that Mr. Raboldi has taught us, and please help us to take it into our lives, and please help us to be able to take care of the assignment, okay, and to do it on the quiz. We all things come from me. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much to everyone. I'm going to stop the recording.